Hello, and welcome to the Wayfaring Panda. I'm Annette. Today I'm participating in the All About the Mouse YouTube hop. So, of course, it has to be Disney theme. So, I'm using these photos from Adventureland and Magic Kingdom. And these are some of the papers I'm going to be using. These papers came from a big paper pad of Disney papers. Also be using some Kraft Cardstock and some dies to cut out some hibiscus flowers, and these come from Lawn Fawn, and that's their hibiscus flower and jungle leaves. And I'll also be doing a little mixed media. I'm using some Nuvo Glacier paste. This month's challenge is to use a sketch from the 30 Days of Sketches, and we're using day 6 since it's the 6th day of March. Now this sketch was designed by Jacqie Malzahn from JQ Crafty. And I'll give you some more information at the end of the video about this hop. I'll put a picture of the sketch I'm following up in the corner so you can stay and follow along, but it shows that the paper is torn, and this is actually the first time I've ever torn paper for a scrapbook layout, which was a little difficult for me because I'm very much more into everything being symmetrical and straight and clean. So mixed media is something I've been getting into, as well as trying new techniques, so these challenges do help you to do that. Now, I wasn't sure what I wanted to use for the background here. You can see where there's a photo and it looked like ripped paper, and then two background colors that looked like it could be paint, but I didn't want to use paint on it, so I kind of looked at the paper to see what colors I needed and then looked at my mixed media to see what would work. So I decided to use my Glacier paste. So I'm starting with this green color, and it came from my Christmas color, so I don't know if they have this anymore, and it is called Green Envy. So I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch me put it on here quite a bit, and then I let it dry before I put on the next color. Next, I'm using my red to make the other, it kind of looks like a circle or oval in the background. And I'm using the Glacier paste called Haute Red. And again, I'll speed this up. Now, I'm not sure if I use this in the best way possible. In fact, I thought later I used my crayons to color my hibiscus. And then I was thinking, oh, I could have used my distressed crayons to do this part because it kind of looks like paint. And I also wasn't sure about whether I should use gesso. I've never used it. I do have some gesso, but I'm never sure when you should use it. However, I just let this dry overnight, and then I put some heavy stuff on it, and it pretty much flattened out. I cut all my hibiscus parts out of some watercolor paper, and I'm going to use these distressed crayons. So for the stamens, I'm using the flickering candle. So sometimes I've tried coloring directly on and then use my water brush directly over it, and that worked pretty good for the stamens. I also kind of tried putting some on my work mat and then adding water. So you can use either method. The distressed crayons that I'm using come from Tim Holtz's holiday collection, so these all have a pearlescent shine to them. If you get the ones that are not part of the Halloween or the Christmas collection, then they don't have the pearlescent. Now, both the set for Christmas, set 1 and set 3, both have green and red with them. So I wasn't sure which shade of green or red that I wanted to use with my hibiscus flowers, so I cut out some small ones and just tried both of the reds on that. So I tried the tart cranberry and also the peppermint stick. And then I used the same technique where I just colored directly on and then brushed. And then also I couldn't get quite enough color on, so then I colored my mat and tried to paint on. And I didn't quite get the first one filled in all the way, but I decided after doing it that I liked the brighter red better for my layout, and also the lighter green because I thought those made it look less Christmassy and stood out on the paper better. I cut out several of the leaves, and I'm just trying the smaller branches with the fresh balsam is the lighter colored one, and the darker colored one is frosted juniper. Now on that one I had trouble getting it to fill in quite all the way, so I'm not sure if it's because of the color or the paper, or also the watercolor paper has a rougher side and a smoother side, so I didn't know if it had something to do with whichever side of the paper I used, which after I got it wet, I couldn't really tell if it was the smoother side or not. But I decided to go with the Fresh Balsam, the lighter color. Now, I'm not going to show you coloring all of the branches, just the ones I was testing on, because basically I did the same thing. I prepped all my other things while I was waiting for my paints and Glacier paste to dry. Now I did cut this with a circle, and I used my Creative Memory circle cutter. Now, like I said, I'm not used to tearing, so this is a little difficult. So I just started with a circle that was a lot larger than what my photo is. And I was a little afraid, though, because my picture shows my grandmother when I took her to Disney World. That was my first real vacation without my parents. I went with my grandma. It's more like I was taking my grandma. She wasn't used to traveling to Disney World. And that was a special trip, but that was back in the late 1980s, I believe. Anyway, this is a little rough for me, tearing paper, so I tear that to go with the sketch layout. It looks like there's torn paper behind the picture. Then I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe glue to glue my craft paper onto my photo layout. Then I use my mounting squares, or sometimes they're called photo squares or photo splits. It's basically double-sided tape that's kind of like stickers, to put my photo onto the center of my torn paper. Then I'm adding 2 other photos that I already put onto photo mats of craft paper, and that's not on the sketch, but I can't do just one big photo. I have to put a bunch on. Plus, I have so many photos that if I don't put several on a page, I will have probably a million photo albums to get all my photos in. And of course, I hope to go on more vacations and other life events to take photos, so I need to put several on a page. Next, I add my Nuvo Deluxe glue to glue on my flowers and my leaves. And also, I cut out 2 banners using my Lawn Fawn banner dies that I just wrote on with the green Micron pen. And I just wrote Jungle Cruise, since the pictures on the top are from the Jungle Cruise, and then New Adventures on the other one, because these were all new adventures for my grandmother, since she hadn't really ever been on a vacation. The only other trip she'd been on is to visit her relatives. Now I'll put a list of all the products that I used in the description below. Some of these will be affiliate links. They don't cost you anything extra to use, but I do get a small commission from any sales that those links generate, and that helps support my channel. As I mentioned earlier, this is part of a hop with the All About the Mouse, and it's a Facebook group put on by Shannon Blinn, and each month we do Disney photo layouts. So hop along. I'll have the list below so you know where to go to check out all the other participants and get some more Disney inspiration. I also told you earlier that the sketch came from 30 Days of Sketches. And what that is, it's a Facebook group called 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And 3 times a year, she'll put a different scrapbook sketches, so 30 for each day of the month. So this March, there's one for each day of March that you can try to do a layout for, or just do some of them like I'm doing. You don't have to do a video. You can make a YouTube video and put it on the playlist, or you can just go to the Facebook group and join there and do whichever sketches you want. And if you want to upload your picture of your layout to each day's particular sketch, you can do that. And you can also post on Instagram. So this is great because it encourages you to try new things, gives you ideas for new scrapbook layouts. And it's just a lot of fun to see what everyone comes up with. I'll put information below as well as the link to the playlist, but it can get pretty long because all kinds of people are participating and could put up to 30 different videos if you do 30 videos for the month of March. And she also does 2 others throughout the year. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd really appreciate it if you can subscribe to my channel. If you are already a subscriber, I want to thank you for your continued support, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.